Hey everybody, welcome as we're getting into this game. We're going to be spawning directly on top of a very strong Protoss player who has a very unusual playstyle. It is LG-IM.Seed, who is going to be the teal Protoss in the bottom left. His opponent is Liquid.TLO, a Zerg player with an unusual playstyle. This is going to be really fun, and I am curious about everything's going on. Those of you live viewers somehow don't have, I don't know why Twitch took away the 360p option or the lower in between 360 and 920p option, so hopefully you live viewers are doing alright. You guys watching the VODs, you should be having high quality. You guys should have no problem, so hi, shout out to you guys, you're awesome. But let's go ahead and just remember what happened in the last game. Our good old friend Seed actually ended up taking it in the last game with a very strong push. He went for his gateway expansion, and it really ended up doing a ton of damage to TLO. TLO literally only took one kill from IM.Seed. He literally almost had a perfect game, and I've only ever seen one pro game where there really was a perfect game. It was a Protoss against FXO Moonin a long time ago. I think it was either when Shadow Temple just came out, or if it was Lost Temple. It was spawning. Terran, I think, was in the top middle, and Protoss was in the mid-right, and it was a Void Ray Stalker play, and Moonin wasn't able to kill anything. I think it was in an MLG, and Moonin was having a really bad day, because Moonin's a really top-level player, and he still wasn't able to do much of anything, and that's very unconventional for him. But we almost had one in this last game, which is shocking at this level. It's incredibly impressive. Seed's doing it with a gateway expansion, and actually coincidentally Stargate play as well. The Void Ray Sentry Stalker push did amazing amounts of damage for taking so little. But now we're going to watch as Seed will go ahead and just start being a pesky and defending this natural expansion of TLOs by throwing a pylon and blocking a hatcher. It's not really defense, it's more offensive, but I kind of feel like it's in a way a defensive move too, because it delays your opponent, and that's really important. But we are seeing that TLO is going same thing as last game, with going for a little bit more of a techier build, which is funny considering the fact that Seed's actually choosing to Forge Fast Expand this time around, and this is a very early gas for TLO. And Seed, considering that he did go for a gateway expansion in the last game, it's quite possible that TLO may have been just trying to essentially metagame that. And oh, is he going to go for a Roach Cheese? I think he's just going to go for a Roach Cheese. Yeah, he just canceled a Roach Warren. And that's looking like he wants to go for a little bit of a bust. I mean, he's seeing this in the front. He's maybe thinking time to put the counter pressure on compared to the last game, but his natural expansion is now going to be going down. He's still keeping one guy in the gas. His metabolic boost is now started. He may go for... Oh no, he took the guy off his gas, so he may just go for this macro behind this and get a quick third base. His metabolic boost being so fast is going to help him defend a lot in case of any Zealot Stalker pressure. But this is going to be a very interesting game to see, because it's so different already from the previous game. We need to find out if Teal's going to be getting a third base, because if he's going for a third base, he's most likely not cheesing. But he could theoretically go for an economic banelink bust. Yesterday in the European NA qualifiers, we actually saw Moonglade, who is back into playing. We saw him go for a fast 3-base into a mass amounts of Ling and banelink play in ZVP. I forget who was against, but it was really interesting to watch it play out. Or was it against? Was it a ZVT? I think it was a ZVP. I can't remember who was playing, but it was a great game and really interesting just to watch. I have to say, these casting these qualifiers for the TSL4 is some of the best level of play that I've ever seen. A lot of guys are doing incredibly solid stuff, and it makes sense. StarCraft's been out for a while now, and is getting more figured out, but you can see how things are still changing. Just think about Naniwa and Sase, Forge Fast Expand or Die, and yet we saw Seed in the last game going for this really cool gateway opener that ends up pulling them a victory against one of the top Zergs out there in the little one. But I do want to check what the voting is saying for who you guys think is going to be winning. It's actually 50-50 at the moment. So guys, zanderfever.tv/vote. Please go ahead and go there. Let your voice be heard, because I enjoy your voices. I can't hear them specifically, I can only read them in the chat, but I can tell you all sound cool, especially Captain John Picard of the USS Enterprise. I'm going to kill my friends for introducing me to that song. It's so good though, it's so catchy. Quite hypnotic. He's talking with the rhythm and it's quite, I forgot the words of that, but it's quite hypnotic. That's all I can tell you guys. So the +1 is being researched, and we got a massive amounts of chrono boosts all the way in the front of this little area. And yes, hearts to you, Captain Picard, in the chat. You are quite cool, just for your name alone. So TLO is just happily droning away at the moment and getting out his Evo chamber. No Roach Warren still. He canceled and did not rebuild it, so it looks like he is going to try and just go straight to the macro game, getting a ton of drones out. He's actually ahead of Seed in the worker count at the moment, which is nice to see, especially considering his later third base. But if you look at these couple links, look at the spread of the links too. I would actually kind of surprised that TLO doesn't have like one link here and one link here for the perfect surround on the rocks. It seems as to scout the front. This probe is locked outside of this little area, but that's actually perfectly fine. It's keeping it safe. I mean, it could be hiding over here, but as you can see, there's a ling of TLO just going straight across and scouting for any kind of pylons or proxy probes or anything that could theoretically lead to a unfortunate loss just because he didn't send around a scout. But at the moment, Seed is looking like he will be going for a quick 5-gate push. There's no other tech out for him, and we already have some gateways units moving across the field with a warp prism. Where is his robo? Where'd he build? Oh, the robo's back here. Look at that, hiding behind the mineral line. But we're having a lot of Zealots pushing forward. +1 attack on the Zealots, hitting 9 minutes in, and TLO skips the Roach Warren. That could be devastating for him. He's got upgrades coming along, but we're going to watch as these Zealots are in the position to do so much damage. We actually have sentries in the Warp Prism hiding them, and now TLO's Queens are completely vulnerable. They're going to get picked off. The sentries may need to be lifted off yet again from the Warp Prism. This Warp Crawler is actually doing a great job of zoning out the Warp Prism, and there we have more and more Warpings. TLO is getting assaulted hard, and he's trying to get out of a macro hatch, and that macro hatch could actually be really good if it connects the base from the natural to the third, but this third base is now gone, and look at this. Seed is going to be able to take this out easily, and now all of a sudden a big influx of Zerg is going to move in. But these Zerglings, if you look at their upgrades, no +1 carapace yet. This attack is hitting at the perfect possible timing. This macro hatch could be assaulted now, and it's going to be doing exactly that. And there we have a ton of lings going down. The drones are actually moving back to start mining yet again. And where's the Warp Prism? It is the main base doing some harassment. You got the Queens doing a lot of damage to the Warp Prism, but Seed is doing an amazing job now with the Forge Fast Expand, putting a ton of pressure on the TLO. Is once again just target fire and hatch. There it goes down. Rubens will not help try and deal with those, but the Queen is dead. The Queen dead is not able to take down the Warp Prism. I started saying the Queen is, so I could say the Queen is either killing the Warp Prism or the Queen is dead. Turns out the Queen had died, but Baneling is forming. Where's that Baneling nest? Oh, it's actually right there. I'm pretty sure I was looking at that before and completely missed that. But the lair is starting in the midst of all the death that's happening in TLO. He's down to 43 drones. We have a ton of links going down. Look at the units that have been killed. At the very least, if Seed does end up winning this right now, which is quite possible, it will not be a perfect game. But holy sentries, GG, so many sentries, and there we go. We've got the Skype call with myself, but that is a 2-0 victory for Seed. Nice switching up of his playstyle, keeps it very aggressive in both games, but the openers went from a gateway expansion to a forge expansion and completely different styles of pressure, but both of them catered incredibly well to just eliminating TLO. TLO's lack of roaches, lack of tech, and only just 1-1 lings or 0-0 lings, just not enough to defend against what Seed had at this particular time in this game. So really well done by Seed. He ends up taking out TLO 2-0, and we can go ahead and get into some more games because I really want to know what's going on. You guys probably also want to know what's really going on.